Hello. I'm going to be getting started soon. Can everyone hear me okay? Perfecto. All right. So I'm pretty new to streaming, so there may be some glitches here and there, but we'll figure it out. All right. I'm just making sure I have everything up, ready to go, and giving some people some time to come in if they're coming in. How's everyone doing? What is Advent of Code? I actually just Googled it because someone tweeted me about it, but I have actually no clue what it is, if I'm going to be real. Okay, so Nanny Sanam says it's little code puzzles and it's just fun. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into it. Don't know how much I love code puzzles because Code Wars kind of does beat me up sometimes. And Traylon said, doing well, wrestling with setting up my MVC structure this morning. Loved your video on it. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. So it looks like Advent of Code is holiday themed. I'm gonna have to check it out. So I'm guessing it's like a December thing where everyone is doing some type of puzzle for like the holidays. It's pretty cool. Okay, cool. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Today we're gonna be talking about web accessibility. And I have a little PowerPoint where I'm just gonna kind of walk through some really general ideas about web accessibility. We're gonna be talking about the tools that we're gonna be using, who web accessibility is for, who's it helping, and then we're gonna get our hands a little bit dirty with your stretch break and kind of fixing some of the accessibility errors that I have on the page. And in between that, because we're using your stretch break as an example, we'll also be doing some stretches together for those of us who are a little sore. All right. Yuri Codebot, looking forward to this while having lunch. Awesome. What are you eating? Pasta. Love me some pasta. I had pasta yesterday. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my PowerPoint. Go ahead and share that. All right, so we're doing testing web pages for accessibility. All right, so first we're gonna kind of talk about what web accessibility is. We're pretty much making web pages usable for everyone so that everyone can use our pages. So when we're talking about making our pages usable, we're talking about making sure that people with permanent disabilities whether that be blindness or deafness or any type of physical disability, making sure that they're able to use our pages. We're also thinking about temporary disabilities like injuries. So people who may have a broken hand, for example, and aren't able to use a mouse and now need to use a keyboard, things like that. And then we're talking about situational impairments. So when we're talking about situational impairments, we're talking about things like you're outside on your laptop and the glare from the sun makes it really hard for you to be able to see your screen, or you're holding your baby in one hand and you're only able to use like one hand, or you're in an area that's like loud and there's too much going on, so you may need to use some like captions or something like that. So these are all the things that we're kind of thinking about when we're thinking about web accessibility, making sure that everyone is able to access whatever web page we have in the way that they're able to. All right, so why should we care about that? Right? We should care because there are many different people who are using our web pages, right? And if we think about the fact that 20% of people on Earth have a disability, whether they tell you or not, right? That's a lot of people who may not be able to use our pages. So we want to make sure they're able to use our pages. And some of these people may be using things like assistive technology to interact with our web pages, and we'll get into what those assistive technologies are. And we want to make sure that the assistive technology can read the page and that they can interact with the page. So we have users who may not be using a mouse, who may not be able to see the screen, who may not be able to hear what's on your website if you have media playing, and maybe using different software to make using that website easier. So for example, people with dyspraxia or dyslexia, and people who also may have able body and mind have those moments, like I said, where they may not be able to use your page due to situational events like loud environments and vision procedures and things like that. So when we're talking about the people who benefit from web accessibility, I kind of want to take a moment to talk about that as well. So let me take my screen off of here so you don't see me. All right, so we talked about physical injuries. We may be having people looking at our page who have fine motor impairments, who are only keyboard users, people who have low reaction time, so they may be using your web pages a lot more slower than usual. So you have to make sure whatever you have on your page is not being timed in a way that is gonna kind of mess with how they're using your page. You may be having people on your page who have cognitive delays, that make it harder for them to understand what's going on your page. So we're making sure that the website copy, what we have on there, is simple to read and straight to the point and not very wordy or using a lot of jargon. We also may have people with hearing impairments. So we want to make sure that whatever we have on the page, if it has any media, that there's captions. We may have people who have low vision or who are blind and are using magnifiers and screen readers. And another thing that I like to talk about is people who have astigmatism. So 1 in 3 people have astigmatism. That is a lot of people. And a little known fact about astigmatism is that often for people with astigmatism, those dark mode screens that are very popular these days are really hard for us with astigmatism to use. So when I first started coding, I was using a lot of dark mode because that's kind of just the culture of coding. People love dark mode, but I found it really, really hard to navigate what I was doing, and I was getting a lot of headaches. And that's because in general, just of the way that the light hits the eyes with people with astigmatism, it's a little bit harder to see what's on the page when everything's dark and then the captions are white. So it's just something to think about, making sure that if you do have dark mode on your page, they're able to make it light. Okay. And we also have neurodivergent individuals. So these are individuals who may have ADHD, sensory sensitivities, dyslexia, autism. And for those users, we want to think about how we're organizing what we have on our page, making sure that our pages aren't too busy, don't have too many colors or flashing lights or anything like that happening. And for ADHD, we want to make sure that everything is kind of straight to the point. People can find things easy on your page, and everything is organized in a way that's visually appealing. I think sometimes we don't really think about that, and it's really important to think about. So let's talk about the tools that we need to kind of test and implement web accessibility, because there are quite a few, and I'm just going to kind of list the ones that I've been using. But the first thing you need is a good understanding of HTML and CSS. JavaScript also helps. You may get away with not knowing JavaScript for simple testing, but it definitely helps because most of our pages are written in JavaScript. An understanding of ARIA, which is basically just accessible, rich internet applications. These are kind of tags that we add to our elements in HTML to kind of explain what the role of whatever on the page is, so that if someone is using a screen reader, they're able to understand what's on the page. And I'll also be showing you guys how I use my screen reader to test, so you'll see how that looks. So the screen readers, like I said, there are a few. I'm using VoiceOver because I'm on Mac. The one that I'm the most familiar with is NVDA. This is an open source screen reader for Windows, and it's free. So when I'm working with patients who are using assistive technologies that include a screen reader, usually the first one I recommend is NVDA because it's open source and it's free and it's really great. So anyone can kind of get started with it. JAWS is a very, very expensive but very good screen reader that many people who are blind use. And it's kind of like the standard because it's the most robust. So if someone is like a heavy computer user and has been blind for a while, they're probably using JAWS. Some of the other things we also want to use is a browser accessibility checker. So these are our automated tools that kind of check the page for accessibility issues. So I'm going to be showing you all how to use these as well. One of them is called Axe DevTools. That is a Chrome extension that you can add. WebAIM, the Wave Accessibility Tester, is also an extension that you can use. Lighthouse is by Google. That's a dev tool. I'll show you how to use that one as well. All right, so those are the kind of like the automated tools that we would use. The other things that we need would be a keyboard because we're gonna have to test our pages manually for keyboard access. We also would probably want to use some type of web page magnifier just so we know how our pages look when they're magnified, making sure that it doesn't completely mess up the view of whatever's on the screen for people who have poor vision. We also want to use that color contrast checker. There are many different ones that you can use, and some of those automated tools have them already implemented like within them. But I like to use the contrast checker outside of those automated tools just to make sure that I'm getting the right information. And I'll show you the one that I use. Browser extensions, the most important thing is that they don't catch everything. They'll give you a pretty general idea of like what's going on your page, but they're not gonna catch everything at all. And I'll show you some examples of that. All right, so where do we start? We always kind of want to start with manual testing. Manual testing is gonna tell us exactly what we need, right? So manual testing looks like tabbing through all of our websites, just using the keyboard and making sure that we're able to select links and enter and get to wherever we need, right? We want to make sure that we are able to zoom in 400% without needing to horizontally scroll. And I'll be honest with this one, I'm still working on it. I'll show you what I have, but mine is not able to do this yet. We want to use a screen reader to navigate. Like I said, we want to make sure our pictures have alternative text where it's needed. And we want to make sure that our headings are semantically structured, because that's kind of how the screen readers are going to read what's on our page. And like I said, we're going to make sure that our contrast ratios are good. And as far as automated testing, I'm going to show you all of these tools. We don't have to really go through them. So let's get started all the way from where we need to be. So I'm going to change my screen and pull up my project, and we're going to just get right into it. All right, and if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I'll try to keep checking the chat to make sure that I'm answering all of your questions. All right. Okay, so here is my page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the server, and I have a specific branch within my my StretchBreak app where we're going to test. So I added some things so that we can kind of go over how to fix them. All right. All right, so we're going to go to local server, and we're going to look at the page. So this is my StretchBreak app that I've been working on. Pretty much when you get on, you're going to be able to start a timer, and then you're going to be able to choose an area for a stretch. So if anybody wants to shout out which body part they want me to click on, I'll click on that. Let's see if anyone has anyone that they want to kind of look at. All right. I don't see anybody in the chat saying anything, so I'm going to choose shoulder. So basically anything you click on here, it'll kind of randomly give you a stretch to try during your day. So that's the premise of the whole app, pretty much. And you're able to create a profile and sign up. So we'll be looking at this as well, making sure that we're able to do it. And I see Gwendolyn said neck and hands. So let's just take a quick break to do 2 stretches. We'll do 1 neck stretch and 1 hand stretch. Neck rolls is a good one. Everybody just give yourself a good old neck roll. Actually felt pretty good. And then we'll do 1 hand one. So thumb to fingertip. All right, so how are we going to test this page? What do you think the first thing we need to do is? For me specifically, what I like to do is I just like to make sure that I'm able to tab through everything. So the first thing I do is I just start tabbing. All right. It looks like so far I can tab. Can I press enter and something will happen? Yes. So my links are working. I'm just pressing enter to make sure that we can navigate where we need to go. Yep, looks like we're navigating. We're able to do what we have to do. Perfect. So if I want to go back home, I can press enter and get back home. And let me see if my logos down here work. Press enter and it opens up to my YouTube page. So perfect. Looks like we can tab through everything. Now that I know that we can tab through everything, the second thing that I would probably do is use a screen reader. So the screen reader that I'm going to use is VoiceOver. I'm still kind of getting used to using VoiceOver because I've been using NVDA for so long, but I'm going to show you how we use it. So for VoiceOver, all we're going to do is press Command F5. And sometimes it's a little chaotic, so I apologize if if that happens. All right, so VoiceOver is now on.
VoiceOver off. VoiceOver in Chrome. Your stretch break. Google Chrome, Africa coding, window. Your stretch break, web content as keyboard focus. You are currently on web content. To enter the web area, press Control, Option, Shift, down arrow. Miro vertical line online whiteboard for visual collab. Your stretch break, web content. Chrome has new window. Miro vertical line online whiteboard for visual collaboration, tab, group. Chrome has new window. Your stretch break, web content. Entering your stretch break web content. Visited link, image, logo, banner. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space. Visited link, home, navigation. You are currently on a link. To click this link, start button, pause button, reset button, eyes button, neck, shoulder, hand, visited link, create profile. You are currently on a link inside of web content, create profile button. You are currently on a link inside of web content. Leaving your stretch break. Banner. Visited link, image, logo. Visited link, home. Visited link, my stretch collection. Visited link, login. Visited link, logout. Visited link, sign up. Heading level 1, your stretch break. Enjoy these gentle movements specially curated for tech professionals and computer users. First, start the timer. Then, pick a stretch. Heading level 2, 1. Start timer, image, 5, 0, 0. Start button, pause button, reset button. Heading level 2, 2. Choose a body part to stretch. Eyes button, neck button, shoulders button, hands button. 2. Choose a body part to stretch. YSNECKSHOULDERSHANDS. Hold or gently move through each pose for 3-5 breaths. Woman seated with hands together at chest. Image. Heading level 1. Your stretch collection. Save photos from the stretch bank to create your own routine. Coming soon. Save photos from the stretch bank to create your own routine. Coming soon. Upload photos of your own to create a bank of your favorite movements on your profile. Available now. Note: this web app is in beta testing. Visited link. Create profile. Man and test using computer with text bubble. Less wrist pain. More coding. Image. Horizontal splitter. About the creator of your stretch break. List 3 items. Visited link. YouTube. Visited link. Visited link. Africa is a full-stack software engineer, yoga teacher, and licensed occupational therapist. She hopes that this web application will help professionals who use the computer for prolonged periods. Africa is a full-stack software engineer, yoga teacher, and licensed occupational therapist. She hopes that this web application will help professionals who use the computer for prolonged periods stay limber and ready to take on their next challenge. Built with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Node.js, and MongoDB. Copyright South Africa, Kenya, 2022. Grammarly integration. VoiceOver off.
All right, so basically what I was looking for as the screen reader read what was on the page is to make sure that everything made sense. So a few things that I noticed when the screen reader was going through was that when we got here, it only was able to tell me what this link is. So that means to me that I probably don't have the correct labels. And this is something that I think for most of us, we probably don't do unless we know to do it, right? So I think when I first made this page, none of these links were able to be seen by a screen reader. So I'm going to show you guys how we would fix that. I think the other thing I noticed was when we got up here, it did like some weird thing. And let me see if I can look at it again. I think I have something in my code that is like messing up, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna kind of turn it back on and see if I can get it to talk to me again.
Voice banner, visited link, image, logo, visited link, home, visited link, my stretch collection, visited link, login, Visited link. Log out. Visited link. Sign up. Heading level 1. Your stretch break. Enjoy these gentle movements specially curated for tech professionals and computer users. First, start the timer. Then, pick a stretch. Heading level 2. 1. Start timer. Image. 5. 0. 0. Start button. Pause button. Reset button. Heading level 2. 2. Choose a body part to stretch. Eyes button. Neck button. Shoulders button. Hands button. 2. Choose a body part to stretch. YSNECKSHOULDERSHANDS. Or gently move through each pose for 3-5 breaths. Woman seated with hands together. Voiceover off.
All right, so I know I need to go here and figure out what is happening with that. I don't know why it's doing that. But I have a few things that I know I want to fix. So usually what I do is I have a little, a notepad with some notes on what I need to fix. So this is what I use primarily. And I just go in here and I'm like, all right, to choose a body part, look for weird words stringed together, or however you want to say that. And then the other thing that I noticed was my logo links are not being read by the screen reader. Okay, so I know I have those things I need to fix. So the next thing I'm going to do is do some automated testing. So now I'm going to show you how we would use some of those things like Axe Wave and the Google Lighthouse tool. So I'm going to make this big. And I'm going to put, let's start with Wave. So Wave is an extension that you would download. And I'm using Chrome right now. So here's the Wave button and here's the Deck button. And the way that we get to Lighthouse is a little different. I'll show you. So for the Wave button, let's see. So far it's telling me I have 2 errors and 7 alerts. All right, let's see what it says. Apparently I'm missing a form label. And where is that? Have to come back to that one. I don't see where that one is. I'm missing a language tag. Okay. So that one is pretty easy. Missing a language tag. We need that because that tells everyone what language we're going to have this page in. So let's just go over to here. I'll go to index and boom. I don't know if you can see this. It'll probably be a little bit too small, but what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to put EN for English. And refresh and see if that gets rid of that. Yep, got rid of it. Awesome. Missing form label. This one's a little confusing to me because I don't have any forms on this page, so I'm not sure. But we can use different tools to kind of look at whether or not it'll pick up on the other tools. So when we see the errors up here, those are like the ones that we really need to fix. And these ones are like, I wouldn't call them suggestions, but they're like, maybe you want to take a second look at this. So it's saying suspicious alternate text. Suspicious alternate text. Why? Why do you think that that's suspicious? Oops. Okay. Logo. I'm going to keep that. And then redundant links. So it doesn't like when you have redundant links next to each other because these are both home links right here. My logo has a link to home. And then I have another home link. I'm going to keep them because I want an explicit home link. And I like the fact that you can also click my little logo up here and get you back home. So I'm fine with those. Structural elements. Let's see. Looks like we got alternative text. We're good here. We got our language, structural elements. We have 2 headings that are level 1. It's never a great thing. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm looking at the questions, and Nell the Owl 77 said, do screen readers read the alt text for images? They absolutely do. The thing about screen readers is they'll read the alt text if there's alt text. If there's no alt text, it'll kind of just skip it, or it'll skip it if you put alt and then you have like the quotes for the alt and you leave it blank. It'll skip it. That's a good way to do things if you don't want whatever's on your page to be read. So in general, I know for alternative text on our pictures, we want to make sure that they're descriptive but brief, because as you can see, if you're using a screen reader and it has to read everything, you don't want a long description. You just want, okay, what is on the page? And because we're using a screen reader and it's talking to you all day, you don't want to add things on the page that are just decorative. You don't want to add, like, if you have something random like lightning bolt and it's just for decoration, you would just put alt and then the quotes and then leave it blank so that the screen reader skips over it. In our last stream, if we're looking at this right here, we were debating about whether or not this was just kind of like a decorative item, or if it was something that was important. So you put the alternative text if the picture is something that's conveying information that the reader needs to know. And for this one, we were like, you know what? I think we would add some alternative text for this one, because it literally says time for a break and we're sitting at the desk. But right now it's blank. So I have a blank for now. So if we come over here, we'll scroll down, and my alt text is blank because we were doing that debate about whether or not it was decorative. But then we were like, yeah, let's actually put in the alternative text. So we're looking at this and we're like, how can we describe this for someone who can't see it, right, in a way that makes sense and is brief? So maybe I would put woman at desk with thought bubble caption. Actually, we'll do these kind of quotes with thought bubble. I think it says time for a break. So it is debatable whether or not that's worth putting in there, but but I'm gonna put it in for now. And if anyone uses a screen reader and they happen to be here, you could let me know if that would be helpful to you at all. But I think it could be helpful, so I'm gonna just add it. Let me see if I saw any other questions. Wave is a free browser add-on. Everything that I'm showing you is free because I'm cheap. So yes, it's free. If an image, Nanny says, if the image has text in it, even if it's a lot, is it best to list all the text in the alt? So if you have an image that has a bunch of text in it and it's integral, it's important for the user to know what's on it. Yeah, put everything on there, in there. They're gonna need to know what's on there. So just make sure whenever you're putting something on your page, you're thinking about that. Like, hey, is this conveying important information? If it is, I have to put a caption, or it's just gonna say image, and then they're gonna be like, damn, what's in the image? So that's the other reason we want to make sure that we put alt and then we make it blank if we want it to be skipped, so that the reader isn't left wondering like, oh man, someone put something on the page and I don't know what it is, right? So it looks like, let me see if anything else. Is it possible to slow down the screen reader? Yes. So something that y'all should definitely do, because it's fun, is YouTube screen readers, and watch videos of people who actually use screen readers using screen readers, because it literally sounds like this. I'm like, wow, the brain is a powerful thing, because regular, like if you don't use a screen reader every day and you hear how a screen reader sounds when a regular user is using it, you cannot discern what it's saying. But for people who are just using it for testing, there is a way to do that. So since we're here and this is a casual stream, I can definitely show you how you would do that. So I'm going to open up my screen reader, VoiceOver utility. And there's a thing called verbosity, and you can make it high, medium, and low. And I think you can there's even more that you can do to kind of make it way faster or even slower. So that's how you would do it for VoiceOver. All the different screen readers have their different quirks though. So usually what I do is I just Google it and figure it out. Let me see if there's anything else in here. Yes, Traylon 555. Yeah, when I have friends and patients who use screen readers, and when they use it, I'm just like, I don't know what's happening right now, but you just listen to something in 5 seconds, and it was like 3 pages long. So it's really cool. It's fun to watch those videos because it'll make your brain glitch. All right, so moving on, let's look at these headings. Let's talk about headings for a second because headings are how we navigate our page for the most part. It says that we have 2 headings that are level 1. And we should always only have one heading that's level 1 ever. Only one heading period, because heading number 1 tells us what the overall arching content of our page is. And then level 2 will kind of break that big topic into subsections. So let's look at the page and just talk through where our headings need to be, right? So your stretch break is the overarching thing on the page. That's H1. Everything falls under your stretch break. So this should be heading 2, perfect. This should be heading 2, perfect. This should not be heading number 1 because the whole page is not your stretch collection. That's just a part of it. So we're just going to go in and change this to level 2. And then save that. We have an unordered list. We should only have one header. We got our navigation. We got our footer. Perfecto mundo. All right. Looks like we're going good so far. But we still have to think about what's going on when we get here. And why is there a little extra thing? There's something that's hidden, but it's still showing up. So if it's hidden, but I can still see it, that means, let's see. Yeah. So what you're seeing right now is, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm talking about, because this is pretty important. And we'll get into it. But down here, remember our logos, this logo has an ARIA element on it, which is telling the screen reader what the role is so that when it focuses on it, it's like YouTube. But these other ones don't have that. So the screen reader has no clue what those buttons are. It's just a logo. So this is not best practice at all. But even though this one is using the best practice, it's still giving us like an empty area that we can select. Like it doesn't do anything. It's just confusing for the person who is tabbing. They're like, why is there an empty tab here? Because it's not hidden yet. I mean, it's hidden visually, but it's still on the page and able to be accessed, and we don't want that. So for that one, it's down here. Let's see, where is it? Okay, yeah. So let me wrap this, view word wrap, so that everything's here. Is this really hard to see, y'all? I don't know. I hope it's not too hard to see. But right here is where I'm highlighting. This is where our YouTube thing is. Our YouTube link. So we can see that we have an ARIA label. We have a class. It says visually hidden. In that class, visually hidden is a CSS kind of, it's a class that's in CSS, and I'll show you that. And that's what's making sure that this is hidden. So I'll show you. Okay, good. I'm glad that you guys can see it. I'll show you what this is going to look like if we don't add all of this. So we see right here, LinkedIn, this is just a regular link. This is how all of us are kind of creating our links, right? Because that's how we were taught to do it. But we do need an extra step if we want everyone to be able to use it. And all I'm going to do is add an ARIA label of hidden. Wait, let me make sure. ARIA label hidden true. I think I just have the ARIA label hidden true in the wrong spot is what it is. So instead of putting that here, we're going to take it out. And all right, y'all, I can make some mistakes. I'm not going to lie. So let's see if this works. Let's see if it works. Oh no, I did the wrong thing. Make sure, got this, copy it, and then we're just going to add it right here and see if that works. Okay, so let's go back to this page and see if that gets rid of that ugly little weird link thing. Please have worked. All right, so let's just tab through because we don't need to test. We can just test ourselves. Yes. Okay, I think it got rid of it. So let's see. Okay, content's hidden. I feel like it's still doing it, but maybe it's only doing it because this is an actual thing. Yeah. So it's doing that because this is an actual thing because we're actually showing the errors on the screen. But if we get rid of the wave tool, when we tab through, it's still showing us, which is good. Okay, so now that we fix this one, we know how to fix the other ones, right? So pretty much we want to make sure that we have, okay, I'm going to just delete this part out because we don't need that. And we're going to add this to the other ones so that it actually tells us what's happening in here. Okay. So we're going to add this right here because this span label class thing is not, let me make sure. Just got to make sure it doesn't mess it up. I'm pretty sure I don't need the label class. All right, let's see if it works. All right, it didn't mess anything up so far. All right, so what I want to show you next is how we visually hide things in CSS to make sure that the screen reader can still read it. All right, so if we go to CSS and we go to visually hidden, this is something that I Googled and that you can Google too. So if you literally just Google like how to hide things on the page, but not to screen readers, this is kind of something that'll show up. Pretty much all it's telling you is we're making sure that it's off of the page, but still readable. So I'm just going to take this, copy, And for anybody who wants it, I'm going to put it in the chat. You could save that in your notes. Let's see if this will work. I don't think it's going to let me actually do that, because it's like, no, you may not. You may not put that in there. All right. Well, maybe I'll like share my Google Doc or something, and you guys can see that. But that's a pretty important one just to keep in your back pocket, I think. Just knowing to use this, and this is going to get it off the page. So let's retest and make sure that our screen reader can actually read this.
Chrome is not responding.
Of course it's not. Why? Come on, Chrome, you can do
To
it.
enable screen reader support, press Command plus Option plus Z to learn about keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah.
To enable screen, eyes, neck, hand, create, visited, link, list 3 items. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space. Visited, link. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space. Visited, link. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, leaving your stretch break. Entering toolbar item PAL 1111. Selected, your stretch break, web banner, visited, link, image, logo, visited, link, home, visited, link, my stretch collection, visited, link, login, visited, link, logout, visited, link, sign up, heading level 1, your stretch break. Enjoy these gentle movements specially curated for tech professionals and computer users. First, start the timer, then, pick a stretch, woman at desk with thought bubble, time for a break, image, heading level 2, 1, start timer, image, 5, 0, 0. Start button, pause button, reset button, heading level 2 2. Choose a body part to stretch, eyes button, neck button, shoulders button, hands button, 2. Choose a body part to stretch, YSNECKSHOULDERSHAN.
Oh, I forgot about that.
5 breaths. Woman seated with hands together at chest, image, heading level 2, your stretch collection. Save photos from the stretch bank to create your own routine, coming soon. Save photos from the stretch bank to create your own routine, coming soon. Upload photos of your own to create a bank of your favorite movements on your profile, available now. Note, this web app is in beta testing. Visited, link, create profile, man and app using computer with text bubble, less rest pane, more coding. Image, horizontal splitter, about the creator of your stretch break, list 3 items. Visited, link, visited, link, visited, link.
All right, I did something wrong.
Software engineer, yoga teacher, and licensed occupational therapist. She hope, voiceover off.
Okay, I think what I did wrong was I moved. Okay, I gotta remember what I did now. Index. Okay, I think it's might be because I moved this part in the wrong spot. Because remember, I had it up here at first. So let me just see if that'll make a difference. I think this is where I had it. All right, let's see if this will make it work. And I won't like do the whole page again. I was just making sure that that wasn't why it wasn't doing what it needed to be doing.
Chrome not responding.
Come on,
Not
Chrome.
responding.
I believe in you.
To enable screen reader support,
All right.
press Command plus Option plus Z to learn about keyboard shortcuts. Press Command slash. To enable screen reader support, press Command plus Option plus Z to learn about keyboard shortcuts. Press Command slash. To enable screen reader support, press Command plus Option plus Z to learn about keyboard shortcuts. Press Command slash. Banner. Visited, link, image.
Yeah,
logo.
yeah. All right.
Visited, link, home. Visited, link, my stretch collection. Visited, link, login. Visited, link, logout. Visited, link, sign up. Heading level 1, your stretch break. Enjoy these gentle movements specially curated
No,
for
don't do
professionals and
everything
computer users.
again.
First, start the timer. Then, pick a stretch. Woman at desk with
We'll just let it do its thing.
Image. Heading level 2, 1. Start timer. Image. 4:52. Your stretch break. Google Chrome. Africa coding window. Your stretch break. Google Chrome. Your stretch break. Localhost colon 1111. Your stretch leaving pop reese eye neck butt short pen create pro visited link list 3 items. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control Option Space. Visited link. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control Option Space.
All right, I'm gonna have to Z this.
Code is not responding.
Something's going on with it.
Index.ejs, my stretch break, window, voiceover off.
All right, I'm gonna have to backtrack a little bit with this one. Let's see what I did. All right, so this is how it was before, and it was working. So I'm gonna see if this is gonna work again, or if I don't know what I did. Like, geez. Okay, let's.
Chrome is not responding. Chrome not respond. Chrome not responding. Voiceover on Chrome. Your stretch break visited. Visit. Pop restart net show pen. Create pro visited link. List 3 items. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control Option Space. Visited link. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control Option Space.
All right. I think I'm gonna have to.
Google voiceover off.
For this one, I messed it up a little bit. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but we'll come back to it. I'm going to move on and show you all the other testing tools that you can use and see if those other testing tools pick up some other errors, because often they do. So the next testing tool we're going to use is called Deck. This one's pretty, not Deck, it's by Deck, but it's called Axe DevTools. And this one's a little different. To use it, we're going to right click and then we're going to go to accessible web and then we're going to put scan page. Let's see what it tells us is going on. All right, so links must have discernible text. I think this is the one that we were trying to work on for some reason is not working. Yep, that's the one it's talking about. So for these, we need to put ARIA labels, and I have to figure out how to do that correctly. Probably outside of the stream, so that can take some time. And then I'll probably like video it or something so that people can see how I did it. But it looks like this one is the only one that's really showing up as an issue, which is nice because we just fixed the rest of them. The last one I want to show you is the developer tools in Google that look up our accessibility. So we're going to right click, we're going to go to inspect. It's going to take us to the developer tools. And then we're going to click this caret and we're going to go down to accessible web. So boom. And now we're going to scan the page. And actually, just kidding. That was Deck. So we already saw that one. We're going to actually go to Lighthouse. Lighthouse is the Google extension. So for this one, you can look up performance SEO and all that other stuff, but I just look up accessibility and practice for now. And we're going to analyze that page. Nani Sanam, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they said, "You're so chill. I'm 100% swearing at my computer by this point." Yeah, I'm just like, what can you do? I know I'll figure it out later. I kind of want to use this stream as a way for people to kind of just get their fingers on accessibility a little bit more. So when I have my regular streams, I would sit here and really figure it out with y'all. But for now, I'm like, let's just make this a real little, make this a little thing that people can watch and not struggle for like 10 minutes on one thing. That's usually what I do, but we're not going to talk about that. All right. So it's giving, ooh, I got a 90, y'all. Okay. It's because we fixed most things. Let's see what it's telling me though. All right, it keeps telling me about these no discernible name for my links, which is annoying because I'm like, why don't you guys just tell me how to fix everything? Like, what about that? So the thing I like about the dev tools for Lighthouse is that you can see exactly what they're talking about and what's going on there. So for this one, it's not telling us how to fix it, which is fine, but at least we know exactly where to go and what our code looks like, what it's talking about and what it's missing. The other thing that I wanted to show y'all on here that I really love is something called an accessibility tree, which is just good to know about. An accessibility tree is basically just when a web page is rendered, it also renders an accessibility tree. So just like we have all of our code here, it'll also show us, and let me see if I can remember how to get there. I promise you I remember how to do this, but now I'm going blank. Okay, boom. Accessibility tree, but show it to us. Because this is not the accessibility tree. I like literally did this today. I can't remember exactly where it is, but that's probably because I've been talking for an hour and I'm burning out a little bit, but darn, I really wanted to show y'all that. But all in all, the accessibility tree would be kind of in this area. And all it does is it shows you how a screen reader is reading what's on the page, which is really nice. And I like to use it. So if I do another stream, which I will, I'm going to take some notes on the things that I couldn't figure out on this stream. But at the very least, you all now have a good place to start as far as how to check for accessibility, which is just kind of tabbing through using a screen reader, making sure that everything is semantically structured, making sure that we're able to kind of use everything, and then using all those different tools to kind of catch things that you wouldn't have caught before. The last thing that we didn't do is the contrast, but Deck and Wave have a contrast checker in them. So it didn't come up as any issues with contrast because mine is white on black. And that's usually just how I like to make my pages because it's the easiest to not have to worry about any accessibility issues. But something that you can use because it's not always that reliable. Like if you have a lot going on your page, these automated tools will not catch whether or not something has good contrast. I use this thing called Contrast. This is for Mac. And I kind of just go, boom. All right, my background is white and my text is black. And this will kind of tell us whether or not it's accessible. So for example, if I'm like doing this one and that's not even the color because it's so pixelated, but it's going to fail, right? And if I click on my black, why is it not showing up? It's not, can't even read it. So let's say we go here and we get the black. Eee! Boom. Great. We did it. And Nani said, my eyes suck and it's so annoying when contrast is low. Like I only have so much energy to try and figure out web text. I will just leave your page. Yes. Right. And the other thing that we didn't talk about is chaotic pages that just have a bunch of crap on them. Right. You can't figure out what's going on. Me as someone with like ADHD and sensory processing issues, if there's too much going on your page or I can't see because of my astigmatism and I'm like, this is a black page with white text, I'm bouncing. So these are really good examples of like why we want to make sure that our pages are actually accessible. So let me just double check to make sure that we did everything. The last thing I want to leave you all with is something actionable that you can use that I love, and I hope that it'll let me like send it. I'm gonna actually pull it up right now to show you. This is an accessibility checklist, and it's from Duke University, and it's amazing because it does everything for you. Oh yeah, and then so Nell said too bright of a white will burn their eyes. So yeah, that's something to think about. Like, this is a very white page, right? So I'm sorry if this burns your eyes. A good thing to add would probably be like the ability to make this dark mode. So some people have dark mode, and this will be dark mode on their computer. But if you have like a little toggle that can toggle from dark to light, that's always like really good. So let me show y'all. Let me see where I put it. All right, this is my little cheat sheet. And I'm going to add in that we need to look at logo links for next time. We need to look at the accessibility tree and Lighthouse. All right, so those are the things we're gonna do for another time because I'm pretty much winded. But here is this really lovely checklist that I will add to the chat. All right, I just added it to the chat. So the great thing about this is you literally just go down the list. And let's make this bigger so you can actually see it. This is for manual testing. And it also tells you the tools, kind of the tools that I was using. I was using Wave. I was using VoiceOver. They also have this color contrast extension that you can download. I already have this downloaded, so it's just a way for you to quickly reference whether or not the contrast of your pages are looking good. And then as you can see, you can kind of look to see, going down this list, how many things you need to check, right? But it makes it pretty simple. You're going to look for that keyboard focus, the tab order, that matters. You're going to look at electric forms. We didn't get to do that, so we'll do that next time. Looking at my login page forms and making sure that those are good to go. I believe I do have some accessibility issues with my forms. Dialog boxes and pop-ups. I have one pop-up. We didn't get to look at that one either, so we'll look at that next time. Multimedia controls. I don't really have anything multimedia on here. As far as like videos, and then it goes over screen readers, it goes over these links, making sure that they're descriptive. That's pretty important. Ooh, Nani said they built an accessibility checklist for pull request templates at work. There's another step to enforce some of it with the linter. That's pretty cool. We talked about logical headings, right? Another thing I want to talk about next time is how to skip navigation links. That's something I'm working on, that I think would be pretty cool, because if you see how annoying it was to go through all the links on the screen reader, sometimes people just want to get straight to the content and not have to like listen to their screen reader do all that. We talked about images, making sure that they're descriptive, making sure that you put that null, right? Null, so that it skips it if it's decorative. Stuff for tables and data and frames. Also CAPTCHA stuff. So there's a lot here for you to kind of look through and think about. So, it is extra work, but now you'll have 20% more people who are able to use your page. And you won't have people like me working with, people who are using screen readers, and what we do? We sit there and we roast your pages because they're not accessible, and it really sucks. And there are a lot of different companies and lawyers going around suing pages, like suing companies that don't have accessible pages. So that is another thing to think about. I leave you with this funny story about how lawyers are going around suing people. If you like anime or manga, if you go to any manga page, they're usually really trash when it comes to accessibility, because who's thinking about accessibility, right? So a lot of these firms, let's just put in manga right now. All right, here's a manga page, right? If we put in Wave right now, y'all, let's 38 errors come up, 102 alerts. So what I've been hearing is a lot of the firms who work on accessibility, who are like lawyers, they're going around and they're just like, suing people who have these websites because they're not accessible, and they're specifically for some reason targeting like anime pages. So yeah, hilarious. So that's that. I'll see y'all next time. I'm going to be here every Thursday at 12 going over accessibility stuff. Usually we end with a stretch break, which we still can, because I kind of need one after sitting here for so long. So I'll let y'all tell me which stretch you want to end with. If anybody wants to do a stretch. You're welcome to everyone saying thank you. I appreciate y'all coming. Maybe we won't end with the stretch. So I'll see. Oh, okay. Eyes. That's what I was going to pick, honestly. So thanks, Traylon. All right, let's do eyes. Oh, I love this one. So the key with this one is you have to rub your hands long enough to get some heat in there vigorously. So this is eye palming, and it feels really nice if you can get a lot of heat in your hands. So you're gonna rub until you get that heat, and then take a deep breath in and cover the eyes. So if you are like me and you have really, really cold hands, that probably won't feel all that good, because my hands are still cold after all that rubbing. But usually it feels really nice if you can get your hands warm enough. Let's see. Let's do one more. Thumb gazing is a good one. We're just going to take our hands and hold them like this and bring them to the middle of the face. And we're going to take them apart and then just kind of look to the thumb and then look the other way. And then bring it forward and then bring it out. And then end with one last one. Yeah, cold hands. Cold hands. That's the story of my life, honestly. Alrighty, my friends. So you all can catch me on Twitter. That's the easiest way to reach out to me. I would love to hear some feedback. And also, any questions you may have, a good place would be Twitter to reach me there. And anything you want to work on next week, I'll be sure to add as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I had a good time. This was fun. And now my webpage is a little bit more accessible than it was. I just got to figure out those logo links. Maybe next week we'll figure it out together. Alrighty, my friends. I'll see y'all next week. Have a good one. Oh.
I'll see you next time, Estrella, if you can make it. Yeah, we'll be here on Thursday at 12 next week, 12 p.m. EST. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. Alrighty. Bye.